All right, guys. I'm gonna see if I get this one to work. The other one we were having some technical difficulties on the other one, guys. I'm gonna see if this is working or what. See if we can get this to work. I don't know what's going on. Maybe YouTube's fucking up today, or I don't know. This is kind of weirding me out. See if we can get this to work. I think we got it working. Difficulties on the other one, guys. Okay, this one is working. Okay. All right. So this one's working. That's good. Um, I got to get this link out, guys. Please help me get this link out to everybody. Because the stream that I had scheduled is not working properly. So we've had a couple of technical issues here. I don't know why, but yeah, the scheduled stream not working right. So if you could just try to help me get all this stuff out, try to help me get it out. I'm gonna try to turn some lights on here, get better lighting without driving myself crazy. I don't want super bright lights on because I do longer streams when the lights aren't super bright, and I think you'd guys rather me do a longer stream than have perfect studio lighting. I think that's a good trade-off. So I got an adjustable desk, but I got to be careful because, like all adjustable desks, this one is very wobbly. It's a very wobbly adjustable desk. And then to make matters worse, I have some pretty wobbly monitors. Ohio Shooting Adventure, what's going on, man? I'm going to wait till more people get in, and I'm going to make my campaign promises for if I become sheriff of Wakulla County. I have some campaign promises that I would like to make. But before I can make my campaign promises, there's several legal disclaimers that I want to make. Okay? Several legal disclaimers. One, and this is really just for the old boomer establishment, state's attorney's office, and people like that are watching me that want to find random stuff to prosecute me for. I know most of you guys know everything I'm about to say. One, I'm not in violation of any campaign finance laws because this is just a meme for now. Two, I'm not claiming to be a current member of any law enforcement agency. Part of the whole thing is I'm a convicted felon. That's central to my campaign, is that I'm an outsider. So I just want to get those disclaimers out of the way. Let's see if we can get this to work. Hold on one second, guys.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at a Florida Department of Corrections institution. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call,
See if it actually
hang
works.
up or press
Usually
1.
doesn't.
To prevent calls from this facility, press 9.
She wants to join us, guys, but Global
Hello,
Telink
this
sucks.
is a prepaid call.
Global Telink sucks bad, so that probably won't happen today. But you never know, it might work. If you hit 0 enough times, Global Telink might actually connect properly. But a lot of times it does not. Hello, my name is George. So I'm just gonna kind of keep this. We're gonna keep this on a loop, I guess. Just because it looks better than that still picture of me looking like an idiot, I guess. So guys, Oves or Bador, good to see you. I'm not the sheriff yet, but by the will of the gods, hopefully I'll be the sheriff of Wakulla County soon. But yeah, look, those legal disclaimers. Okay, if I get any super chats tonight, that's not for the campaign. That's for the channel. I want to make that clear because campaign finance laws are very strict. But also, this is not an actual campaign yet. Technically, this is a meme. This is just a joke, and everything I say tonight should be treated as a hypothetical discussion of what I would do if I was elected sheriff. I'm not running yet. I'm not on the ballot yet. But I'm seeking it. I'm serious about doing the process in 2028. But I'm not actually doing it, and the reason I'm telling you guys that is because I don't want to trigger campaign finance laws to apply to me, because campaign finance laws are this really sneaky thing that they use to beat small guys like me over the head. And it's basically you take bribes legally and then you beat small guys over the head over nonsense. That's basically, if you want to know like a summarization of campaign finance law, that's what it is. It's something you can beat the small guy over the head with, and it's something that the big guy can use to take legal bribes from donors. Our campaign finance laws are totally messed up, and so yeah, for legal reasons, bro, I'm not on the ballot yet. I have to tell you guys that this campaign is technically an internet meme, and it's technically a joke. We're doing this in Minecraft for right now. I'm not saying that in the future we're not going to meme this into reality, but as of this very moment, we're doing this in Minecraft. That way, we don't trigger campaign finance laws. That doesn't mean that I'm not really going to run for sheriff. As of this moment, it's an internet meme. So I have to get that disclaimer out of the way. Not currently on the ballot. We're not doing political fundraising in the stream, and I'm not currently a law enforcement officer. I'm seeking the position of the head of a law enforcement agency. But I'm not currently a law enforcement officer. Again, everybody knows that. Central to my campaign is the fact that I'm a felon. Now that I got those disclaimers out of the way, we got a couple of interesting guests that might come on tonight. Desiree might call in if we can get Global Tel-Link to work. Somebody that goes by the name of Vex might call in later. We might have Vex on later. And then we have Slingshot Warrior. Slingshot Warrior might come on later, and we might talk about primitive weapons. Slingshot Warrior is a primitive weapons expert. Some of you may be subscribed to Slingshot Warrior. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about my campaign promises for if I'm elected sheriff. I have several campaign promises. And by the way, guys, I feel the need to say this real quick before I get into that. I'm going to be reviewing this Kershaw Camp Machete. I'm going to be doing a review on that. By the way, this channel is not going to become all about my run for sheriff. We're still going to do the normal thing, okay? I don't want people thinking that this whole channel is going to become I mean, as we get closer to the actual election, you're going to see more and more videos about that. But that's not what this channel is about. This channel is about survivalism and prepping. But I do want my audience to be aware of the fact that I am seeking public office, 100%. But yeah, I'll be reviewing this Kershaw. This is I just got the Kershaw. I paint all my knives. This is a pretty beautiful blade considering how cheap this was. This is a $60 machete. And I think, man, I think it's nice. It still has that oil on it. And I like the sheath, and I'm a big fan of like the anodized / tan finish. It's screaming for me to spray paint some camo lines on it, like just some random green lines to go across it maybe. But I'm not just going to stop there. I'm painting the whole thing camo, and I'm probably going to wrap it in that multicam camo form stuff. I love doing that. The cool thing about being a convicted felon is you have more money to take something like this and you're going to take the sheath and you're going to spray paint it camo, and you're going to take the handle and you're going to wrap it in camo form. You're going to spray paint the actual knife, and then you're going to take the sheath and you're going to wrap it in camo form, and then maybe I'll spray it with Flex Seal or something, and then I'll spray paint it camo. Yeah, like when you're a felon, you have all this extra money to do all this extra shit with your your equipment. Everything gets painted camo, everything gets wrapped in camo form, because you're not wasting all that money on optics and guns and shit like that, because you're a felon and you can't have any of that crap. And if you can have any of that crap, well, if you choose to ignore the law, you're only going to have a couple guns. Even if you choose to ignore the law, which Most felons do. I'm not saying I'm ignoring the law. If I was, I wouldn't admit to it. But, even if you're a felon that ignores the laws, you probably only own like a couple guns. Like most felons that own guns don't own that many. Because, I mean, like, it's a liability. You need to be able to hide them. So you would only have, like, at most, you're going to have, like, one of each type, basically. Even if you're a rich felon, you're probably going to have, like, a few shotguns, even if you're like a multi-millionaire felon, you're probably going to have a few shotguns, a few rifles, because you don't want a huge, massive collection of firearms if you're a convicted felon, because, then you'd get caught pretty easily. Well, okay, we'll let him on. Hey, what's going on?
Hello?
Slingshot Warrior, you're on the air.
Okay.
Look, I kind of want you to call in a little later, just because I gotta go into my campaign promises. Okay.
All right.
All right, but you are on the air. Like you'll hear yourself on here. Like I got you on the air right now.
All right, bro. I'll wait.
Yeah. Let me get out my campaign promises. Let me get that out the way, because my audience is eager to hear that.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, we'll talk in a few minutes. All right, so my campaign promises are simple. We're going to streamline everything. I'm not wearing a suit and tie. You know how I'm not saying I have anything politically in common with Zelensky, but you know how like Zelensky would always refuse to wear suits and ties and stuff, and he'd always wear like battle rattle, and he'd always have like tactical clothing on, olive drab green clothing all day. If I'm elected sheriff, that's the kind of sheriff I'm going to be. Okay, we're going to utilize asset forfeiture, and we're going to like these human traffickers and these pedophiles and these drug dealers, we are legally going to kick in their door, and we are going to confiscate all of their money, and I'm going to the slogan of my campaign is based and red-pilled. That's going to be the slogan of my campaign, based and red-pilled. Okay, feel free to, if you guys want to contribute AI-generated art to the campaign, this is a guerrilla campaign. I need everybody to go to 4chan. I need everybody to go to Reddit. I need everybody to go to your social media sites and share this video. And the name of the campaign is going to be based and red-pilled. Okay, I am breaking away from the tradition of pompous blowhard bullshit. Okay, this is going to be an all-business administration. When we get into power, right? And when I say we, I mean we, because you guys are going to be my advisor. One, when I become sheriff of Wakulla County, I am going to dox myself. I live on a farm, okay? I live on a farm, guys. I live on a compound, and I'm going to have tons of security, and by the time I'm a sheriff, I'm going to have tons of guns. I'm going to dox myself to where anybody that wants to come talk to their sheriff can come talk to them in person. When I am sheriff of this county, I will talk to every citizen that wants to talk to me. I don't care if you're a felon. I don't care if you just got out of jail. If you want to come talk to me, you can schedule an appointment and you will have access to me. 100%. That is my first campaign promise. You'll be able to come to Jared Farm, or you'll be able to come to the sheriff's office, or wherever I can set up meetings with local citizens, and I will talk to all local citizens. So that's my first campaign promise, is access. My second campaign promise is I don't give a fuck about that salary. Okay? The salary, that it's like $80,000 a year. It's a lot of money. I don't care about that. I want enough money to have MREs and energy drinks. If you have, and to keep the electricity on at my house, I want tactical gear, I want food, and I want energy drinks. That's the only thing I want. Any money for anything other than, you don't even have to pay me money, okay? If I have an unlimited amount of food, energy drinks, and electricity, that's all I need. So this huge, I don't care about the salary. I will take my sheriff's salary and I will donate it for fallen deputies or to charity or something like that. We'll give it to the Children's Hospital or something. I don't give a shit about the salary. I'm not doing this for money. Another thing is, if there are donors that want to contribute to my campaign, I got to be careful about this. This is hypothetical in Minecraft. This is not a real campaign yet. I got to be very careful about talking about anything regarding campaign finance. But if I was to get any donors, I'd want them to be from tactical gear and firearms industry people only, and I wouldn't be beholden to anybody but them. That's the only people I want to be beholden to, right? I like the 1033 program. Okay, I used to be I used to be against the militarization of the police, but all of a sudden I've magically had a change of heart. Yeah, we're gonna get armored vehicles and all types of stuff, and the pedophiles and the drug dealers and all the people that are screwing everything up. We are going to legally kick in their doors with the SWAT teams, and we are going to confiscate their money, asset forfeiture. And if I can do it legally, if I'm able to do it, I will have a dividend for the citizens of our county. I will hand the money out to the citizens. I will take the money from the drug dealers and I will use it to help you pay for your groceries if there's a way I can legally do it. I don't know if I can legally do that. I think there's a way to put it into some type of trust or maybe some type of pension fund for workers or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly the full extent of what we can do with the asset forfeiture money, but I will take the asset forfeiture money from these drug dealers and these pedophiles and these human traffickers and these cartels. I will take that money. I will take those millions of dollars and I will actually use it in a way that benefits the taxpayers, okay? If I'm elected sheriff of Wakulla County, I will be the best sheriff this state has ever had. I will. And I will. The slogan of my campaign is based and red-pilled. That is based and red-pilled. Okay? Listen, the boomers are not going to vote for me. Okay? Except for my neighbors. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool boomers. Most of these old establishmentarian types are not going to vote for me. The young people of Wakulla County need to get out there and vote for the chud. Vote for the computer nerd. Vote for the felon. Vote for the guy that looks like you. Don't vote for the guy that looks like your dad. Vote for the guy that looks like you. That's what I'm asking. Do you want to elect the sheriff that looks like you, or do you want to vote the sheriff in that looks like your dad or your grandpa? We have to ask ourselves that. Are we ready to grow up as a generation? And the answer is yes, if you vote for Jordan Jareb. The answer is yes if you vote for Jordan Jareb. That is for sure. Coral Weezer, Ohio, Slingshot Warrior, Ozer Bador, I see you guys. It's good to have everybody in the stream. But yeah, I'm telling you guys, and I need to get the word out there. Guys, based and red-pilled is my campaign slogan, okay? We are going, and look, man, this business as usual politics that's up in North Florida, you got Sheriff Marcino and you got Grady Judd. They're doing asset forfeiture, taking millions of dollars from these people, bro. These people up here aren't doing any of that. These people up here are not innovating. They don't have new technology. You got the sheriffs out here saying, lock it or lose it, saying you got to lock your car doors because you have criminals running around here stealing from your cars. The hardworking citizens of this county don't want their car to be broken into at night because some guy needs money for crack. They're sick of it. They moved away from places like Tallahassee. They moved out here so they wouldn't have to deal with stuff like that, right? Me as a local farm owner, right? Me as a local farm owner, well, we're building fences and stuff like that. This is why we moved out here, is to move away from all this stuff. We shouldn't have to have compounds that look like South Africa. This is where we're living now. We have to live in compounds, right? Because a lot of that stuff from Tallahassee is starting to sneak into Wakulla County, right? Yeah, a lot of that stuff from Tallahassee is beginning to sneak its way into Wakulla County. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. I already know what you guys are thinking in the chat, okay? You're thinking, this isn't my county, why should I care? Right? I know you guys in the chat, you're thinking, this isn't my county, I don't live in Wakulla County, so why should I care? The reason you should care is because this is going to be a movement. We are going to get millennial and Gen Z sheriffs that are felons, or just based millennial and Gen Z across the country elected as sheriffs. We are going to get the armored vehicles. We are going to have access to the SWAT teams. We are going to get the equipment. We're going to get the helicopters. We're going to get the night vision. We're going to get the robotics. We are going to take control of the enforcement arm of the state. We, the millennials, we, the chuds, we are sick and tired of having a government that treats us like second-class citizens, even though we're the ones that pay taxes. Even though we're the ones that prop this thing up, we get treated like second-class citizens, and it's not because of the deputies. The deputies never wanted this, okay? The deputies don't want. I met with several deputies today. They were off duty. I'm not going to say their names. I'm going to protect their identity. I have several sheriff's deputies that are supporting this campaign, and they want me to lead them, and they know I have what it takes to lead them, and they know this isn't a joke, okay? They know I have giant stockpiles of tactical gear. They know I'm a super prepper. I just don't have the official authority of the state to do the things that I would like to do. There's things that I would like to do that I need the official authority of the state to be able to do. And I don't have that yet, right? And obtaining it is easy. I need a couple thousand votes. 30,000 people. Only 2,000 of them probably vote in these local elections. Most of the residents of this county could care less about a local election. We get a couple thousand young people out to vote for somebody that actually represents them. That is where the rest of the internet comes in. You need to blow this campaign up. We need this on 4chan. We need this on Reddit. We need this on YouTube. We need people making videos about this. We need people promoting this. We need the streams talking about it. We need Focus Trip talk. Focus Trip already did a video on it the other day. We need everybody, all hands on deck, if we want this to work. We can leverage the power of the internet, the powers of Kekistan. We need the Groypers. We need the Chuds. Where are the Groypers at? Where are the Chuds at? We can make this happen. By the power of Kekistan, by the power of the Groypers, by the power of the Chuds, we can make this happen. Okay? I will be the first 4chan sheriff. Instead of Mike Chitwood, we're gonna have Jordan Jareb. Okay? You could just imagine a scenario where Mike Chitwood comes to Wakulla County looking for somebody for a post they made on 4chan, and Sheriff Jareb ain't having it. Sheriff Jareb, you know what Sheriff Jareb is going to tell him? I'm sorry, Mike. We only have a certain amount of resources we can allocate, and we have better priorities than assisting your agency to hunt down somebody that said something you didn't like on 4chan. That's what I would tell. That's what I will tell Mike Chitwood when I'm elected sheriff, okay? I will tell, I'm sorry, Mike. We have better things to do than to hunt down every single person that says something you don't like on 4chan. Yeah, listen, bro, Andrew Tate for an endorsement. Listen, I would much rather have Sam Hyde as an endorsement. But listen, if Andrew Tate gave me an endorsement, I don't really believe in everything Andrew Tate says. I'm not like a huge Andrew Tate fan. But yeah, I wouldn't mind his endorsement. I'd much rather have Sam Hyde endorse me, right? I tell you who we really need on our side here. We need Hermes on our side. I'm going to tell you who we need. We need Hermes on our side. Hermes is a funny guy. If we could get Hermes on our side, this guy right here, listen, if anybody knows Hermes, please let him know. Because he lives in Miami, and he could drive up here to Wakulla County. I'd be glad to do an interview with him. And I know it doesn't look like it now, but I got some good lighting here, and I got some very picturesque places on my property. And my property would be a great place for him to kind of a halfway point, because he does a lot of traveling. So this would be a good little base for him to stop at. If he's ever coming through this area anyway, he could stop by Jareb Farm. Okay, if you're in the Florida Panhandle region, and you're doing things and you're doing things for the movement, you stop by Jared Farm. Jared Farm's a good pit stop. But yeah, Hermes is an excellent. He'd be an excellent person. I would love to have his endorsement, 100%. 100%. I don't know if you guys know about Lily Gaddis. Lily Gaddis. I'd love to have her endorse. It doesn't really matter though who endorses me and who doesn't endorse me. Yeah, it'd be cool if Nick Fuentes endorsed me. It'd be cool if Kanye West endorsed me. Come to think of it. Like, if Kanye West would literally... I'd have this election in the bag. Honestly, that's who we need to endorse me. We need Kanye West to endorse me. You know what I mean? What if, what if we just meme it into existence? What if we just, like, AI generate a picture of Kanye holding a sign that says, I endorse Jordan Jareb for sheriff of Wakulla County. And then actual Kanye will probably be like, yeah, this might as well be the real me. That'd be pretty funny. All right, let me read your comments. She cute. Yeah, Lily Gaddis is cute. Yeah, okay, so Eric, I got to be careful about flags and banners for the campaign because if I start printing out banners that say Jareb for sheriff, it triggers campaign finance laws and stuff like that. Even if it's just a meme for now. The fact that I'm really going to do it later, I got to be careful about that. Yeah, it literally doesn't matter who it is at this point, bro. All we need is we need this campaign to be talked about, and then that's literally it. What we need to do is we need to get my enemies screaming about how terrible I am. And then I'll get elected. My enemies are free advertising. So if we could just get my enemies screaming and bitching and moaning about, oh, Jordan Jareb is running for sheriff, they're going to be free advertising. Because what's going to happen is, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The local citizens, the young, disenfranchised working men are going to be like, oh, the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center don't want Jordan Jareb to be elected? Let's vote for him. Yeah. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, we have it in the bag. As long as all we got to do is get our enemies, all we got to do is get my enemies to talk about how terrible it is that I'm running for sheriff and get all the liberals freaking out, and there will be free advertising for me. And just to spite those people, the young men, the young working men of this county that are sick of it are going to go and they're going to vote for me. Right? And one of the deputies I talked to today was that, well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because I'll give away who it is. I don't want to say that. Let's just say one of the deputies I talked to today wasn't a white person. Let's just say I have a broad demographic of people that want to vote for me. I don't want to say exactly what race he was because I don't want to expose who came and visited me today. Several deputies came today to my farm, and when we had a discussion, and at first they acted like they wanted to intimidate me, but they were just doing that to test me, to see how I handled myself under pressure, right? And then they were like, "We're just messing with you. We wanted to talk to you about it." And there's deputies right now that want me to get elected, 100%. They were on my property today. So the deputies want me to get elected. They're tired of the bureaucracy. They're tired of the nitpicking. They're tired of the for-profit nitpicking regular people. They're tired of crap like that. They don't want that. They want somebody that's going to be aggressive against human traffickers, pedophiles, rapists, child molesters, all those people like that. I just lost my monetization on this. No monetization on this. That's gone, which is probably for the best anyway, because it's probably some obscure campaign finance law that I'm probably breaking right now anyway. There's a million. Campaign finance law is like a landmine field, okay? Like it helps the people that are part of the establishment that want to take legalized bribes, and it just hurts like the normal everyday candidate that actually wants to affect change. Campaign finance laws are meant to fuck everybody over. That's what they're meant to do. Keep the powerful in power and keep the little guy from being able to run. But we will overcome it. We will, guys. We will prevail. No, hell no. I don't want to change it. Listen, if I run as a Democrat, I wouldn't win. I'm either going to go as an independent or a Republican. I really want to run as a Republican. If I can because I'll get more votes. People are just going to see Republican and they're magically, but I'm pretty sure my opponent is a Republican too. I'm pretty sure like all my opponents in this race are going to be a Republican, but I'm going to be the best candidate because I'm going to tell you why I'm going to win the election for sheriff. Because I'm going to go on YouTube live streams and I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm not scared of saying the wrong thing. Oh, I can't say the wrong thing, and I'm not putting a suit and tie on. And I'm not a lizard person. I'm not like a reptilian. I'm not a lizard person. I'm a real flesh and blood person. I say politically incorrect things. I say how I feel. I'm not beholden to the establishment. Oh, I can't say the wrong thing. I got to look professional all day. I'm going to look professional when I kick in these doors. When we get our SWAT team and we kick in these doors and we do asset forfeiture and we take all these people's shit. And we however we can legally do it, we're going to take that money and whatever the most based, red-pilled thing we can do with that money is what we're going to do with that money. Okay? Maybe we'll make a rap music video with the SWAT team in it called We're the Real Gangsters. And we'll be like throwing the money around and we'll have all the gold chains and like, yeah, we're going to show the gangsters who the real gangsters are. Yeah, we're going to have like an AI generated rap song. We the sheriff's office. We the real gangsters. Like, you know what I mean? We're going to kick in all the doors we're going to do asset forfeiture big time. I'm going to make sure, listen, all my deputies are going to have the latest and greatest equipment. They're going to have 40-millimeter cannons. When you know that old man's trying to commit suicide by cop, you're going to have some other options. You're going to have the 40-millimeter cannon. You're going to have less lethal pepper ball launchers. How the fuck? I'm a convicted felon. I'll be right back, guys. I have better, less lethal options at my disposal as a convicted felon than many of these deputies have. I'm a convicted felon, and when it comes to less lethal options, I am equipped better than the sheriff to deal with a suicide by cop kind of situation, right? Why do our deputies not have, why do they not have less lethal, pepper ball launchers and stuff like that? You know what I mean? And I've done extensive research on these things. You guys have seen me do it. I want them to have these in their car. There you go. Hey guys, clip this. I got something for you to clip. Clip this. That's another thing. I don't care about you. People clip whatever they want, bro. People can clip whatever they want. Take it out of context. There's probably a couple of leftists lurking around somewhere that are going to end up clipping stuff. I don't care. Because the moment my enemies find out about this, they're going to complain and they're going to make a big scene and there's going to be free advertising. And we're going to win this election, guys. I'm telling you. 2028 comes around, we are winning this election. 100%. And the current sheriff is Jared Miller. And I don't know if Jared Miller wants to run again, I don't know if he's going to be my opponent or not. But it doesn't really matter. Because I know one thing, guys. Whoever my opponent is, is going to be some guy in a suit and tie with a little sheriff badge on like the corner of the suit. And he's going to look like a normal person. He's going to look like a normal, everyday, boring boomer, even though he's probably going to be Gen X. He probably isn't a boomer. But we the catch-all phrase for those people are boomers, right? And I'm telling you that that's not going to go down well with the young people when they see Jordan Jereb come up on the scene. They're going to vote for me. I am the man for the job. So, all right, guys. I think what we'll do now, we're gonna have Slingshot Warrior come on. I'm gonna have him call me, and he's gonna talk to you guys about primitive weapons. For those of you that are tuned in for prepping reasons, stay tuned. This is a very interesting guy, and he is a primitive weapons expert, and so he'll be calling in pretty soon. And he will probably take any questions you guys have in the chat too. Slingshot Warrior should call in any second now. Hello, Slingshot Warrior. I guess I'll call him.
Oh,
Slingshot Warrior.
hello.
Hey,
How you doing?
are you watching the stream?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, we have you on now. What do you
Okay.
what do you want to tell everybody about the primitive weapons and all that?
Well, I have a lot of things to show. I was gonna go into a little like how I got started, and then show what these tools can do, and not demonstrate it, but just to show exactly how to use them. Well, not exactly, but just basically showing, just a light demonstration. You know what I mean? Then
You could try
going
to
into,
you could try to turn your video on if you want.
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I mean if it'll work. Okay,
Okay.
there you go. You should be on screen. I don't know if it's working or not, but I think so. I can see you.
Okay.
There's a little bit of latency. I'll know in a second if it's working or not.
You can send me a link, but you're not if you're using StreamYards. You know what I mean?
No, okay, it's working. All right. I see you. There was just a little bit of latency in the chat.
Okay. Mhm. Well, I started out in slingshots as a young boy. Grandfather made my first. That's the first weapon that I use. I have a whole collection of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Different kinds, different types. That's the first one. But
Yeah.
I got into different kinds of primitive weapons because, well, I don't live in like Florida. Although I'm not a felon, in my adult life I've never been convicted of any crime. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maryland has some strict laws when it comes to people with a mental health record. You know, owning a Mr. Boom Boom. You know what I mean?
They
So that's how I
basically
started.
red flag laws.
Red flag laws before red flag laws.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
they had it before anybody did. Similar laws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I started out with primitive weapons. Learned how I became very good with the slingshot, blades. Um, so
So what kind of blade is that?
that is a Colombian Smatcher. They don't make this anymore. High carbon steel.
What do you think about this Kershaw?
I can't see you. You got to turn on your camera.
You can't see me. I'm on the stream.
No.
You don't got me on the
Yes.
stream?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a Kershaw.
If your camera's
Machete.
off, it's like got a Kershaw machete. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. I first want to say that these were the tools of our ancestors. They're
Yeah.
simple, but they're effective. Another tool that I can use. I took up archery. I also took up the spear. This is
Yeah.
a simple spear that you can throw with. You know, it has a rubber sheath.
And that's
It's a Sheffield.
a modern tactical spear, right? Like that's.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like
Yep.
a. So you like
Yeah.
primitive weapons, but with a modern tactical twist, right? Like that's what you're into, for the most part.
Yeah, what I can get, you know,
Yeah.
what I can get, pretty much. These are not any different than what our ancestors used. I have crossbows, but I wouldn't show these on a live stream. You know what I mean?
Why not?
So I'll show you this one.
You can show it on the
Compound
live stream.
bow. I can,
Yeah.
without getting shut down by YouTube.
Yeah, we might lose monetization. I don't care though.
No, they'll shut you down pretty quick if it looks like a firearm. I
They
mean,
don't care. I've had airsoft guns on here before.
all right.
You just lose monetization. That's a pretty cool crossbow. Who makes that? You hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, who makes that crossbow?
Well, they don't make this anymore. This is the Cold Steel Cheap Shop, but the EK Archery makes a version of this. You know,
I wasn't aware
it
Cold
basically
Steel. You're saying Cold Steel makes crossbows?
made it. They don't make it anymore.
Oh,
EK Archery makes a version of it now.
Oh, okay.
Adjustable stock, laser sight, everything you need.
Does it have Picatinny rail or is it a different rail system?
Oh yeah, it's just Picatinny rails.
Okay.
Yeah, up the top. Everything's easy to put together, and
I really want
okay.
one of those.
Oh yeah, and you can get one with a magazine on top of it, the EK Archery version. You know.
Yeah, I really want like a magazine fed one that has Picatinny rail. And you could paint
Get
it
one
camo.
like this.
You don't think painting it camo would like interfere with the function?
No,
That's pretty cool.
you got to do it the right way. I'll put it this way: you can get like an EK Archery version of this that has like a magazine on the top if that's what you want.
Yeah.
It's 130 pounds. It'll basically stop anything that I just have a single shot version, but you can. I've been wanting to get a repeater. But yeah, this is one of the primitive weapons you can get. Crossbow anyone can use with enough practice. Basically, it's very accurate. It doesn't have any recoil. It's quiet. It's lethal.
Can you tell the audience how you earned the name Slingshot Warrior?
Oh yes. Well, it's something I earned on the streets. Okay. I was young. I think around 18. It was the late 90s. You know what I mean? My brothers used to bring back a lot of trouble back to the house, and this big guy and a couple of his friends show up, and there's this fight in basically our apartment, which is near our apartment, which is basically like it was near a little parking lot. You know what I mean? Where our apartment was located. And this guy was trying to come in. He was a big, tall, like 6 feet tall, like linebacker looking white dude. Something like big, tall dude. You know, man. I only have a slingshot, right? And I just you know, the two shots I basically missed, and I hit someone's headlight, and and then I hit someone's tail light. But on the third shot, I said, "Please let God let me be fast and accurate."
Yeah.
And with a marble and a slingshot, I basically hit him right in the Adam's apple.
Oof.
He went down really fast. You know what I mean?
Perfect shot.
Yeah. I was aiming for his face, but I got him in the Adam's apple.
It's like David and Goliath.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, yeah. And basically, for a minute, everyone was like, it was like a baseball game almost. Everyone was yelling and screaming. Everyone got like a club or a street weapon kind of thing, like a shovel or a bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like it was crickets for a minute because everyone
So
thought he was
everything just went
dead.
quiet. Like, how the hell did this guy do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gets back up, and can I use profanity?
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
That's fine.
Hit me with a fucking rock. Hit me with a fucking rock. He
Yeah.
looks around. He's like, he had to get out of there. he was, he had all the fighting in him and his friends. They just got the hell out of there. And the reason I did that is because he was trying to attack my brother, and he was trying to get into that door, which is our apartment. I was
So
going to let him do that.
since this time, like I assume that you've gotten more proficient with slingshots now.
Yeah, I've been practicing for years since I was 5 years old.
So what that incident taught you is that your adrenaline dumps, and that I bet you had your adrenaline not dumped, you probably could have got it on the first try, but the fact that you were probably shaking a little bit.
And I didn't know back then that I needed glasses because he was fuzzy at first. He had to get close enough
Yeah.
to my line of sight. You know, man.
So these guys
Uh,
in the chat, they want to know about the guys in the chat are asking about paintball guns, pepperball guns. Like, what's your opinion on those things?
of course. Well, I'd say they work. Pepper balls work. But there's the kinetic rounds you can get, and there's different kind of launchers you can get. You can get shotgun launchers. You know, I got into this because of a guy called Rune Rebel. He got me into these launchers. I got my first launchers were pistol launchers by Umarex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you may be went into only just the saber launchers, but I have a whole collection of them. They're cheaper
Well,
than firearms, and
I'm just trying to master the saber for now, but I'm definitely open to trying some other ones. I'm not beholden to
well,
saber. It's just my favorite one at the
yeah.
moment.
If you're looking for one that's more of a rifle type launcher, like a shotgun type launcher, I would say go with the Umarex, either HDX 68 or HDB 68.
So explain to me the
You know,
shotgun ones. How do the shotgun ones work?
not that much different. They require CO2. You can actually modify them if you wanted to, for maybe PCP. You know what I mean? Get them like 100 joules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I'm using
Do they spray
joules.
shot, or do they just put a slug out?
They put a ball, like a hard ball.
Okay. A big hard ball. I mean, it seems like if you use .68 on a shotgun, it just doesn't seem like it. I don't know. It just seems like a waste of.
It looks like a shotgun. It doesn't go. It's basically made for home defense.
So it doesn't.
It shoots.
So it just doesn't really have a great form factor. They just make it look like a shotgun. Like, I would rather have something like semi-automatic.
Well, it's very actually the HCB is semi-automatic, and it
Okay.
shoots 68 caliber balls. You know what I mean? You know, so you can get that. The HCB is semi-automatic. It shoots 68 caliber balls. It's CO2. You know what I mean? You can actually modify it to whatever joules you want. They have ones that are like 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 you know, like
The
40 joules. You
the
know what I mean?
chat is saying that you should take fentanyl and like put fentanyl on the tip of your arrows.
No, I don't. I'll put it this way.
It,
Uh,
that's a
I
joke, by the
suggested
way.
to you.
They're kidding.
I
They're
know.
not. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. We
I
wouldn't really do
suggested
that.
to you before. I suggested to you before, like the repeating crossbows. Like,
Yeah.
I told you one that was within your price range, around $400. You could buy it with a detachable magazine, perfect for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about getting it myself. Um, I'll get it soon enough. So I would suggest, learning primitive weapons because these are the tools of our ancestors. You know what I mean? The knife is still around. The sword, the knife, the axe, the club. You know what I mean? The slingshot, the bow and arrow. These are things that have been around and you got to think about modern weaponry has only been is only a fairly modern thing. You know what I mean? It's only
Yeah.
been around for a couple of 100 years. You know what I mean? Since the early muskets. How long has been like these tried and true weapons, the spears, the bows, the crossbows, the swords, the axes? I think they've been around a lot longer, haven't they?
Yeah, they
Thousands of
have.
years.
They have. And
So,
there's no
and
moving parts with the swords and axes. The cool thing about buying
there's
a machete is you might have this machete might last until long after you're dead.
it's a good thing, but this one, yeah, like this one,
Your
high carbon
grandkids
steel.
your grandkids could inherit these things.
Yeah.
You
Of course, and you can,
every time you buy a machete or an axe or something like that, you're really buying
yeah.
something that is gonna last. Like there's no moving parts in the thing, And then
And just like same thing with this.
yeah, and then
This is a beautiful one.
how often are you really gonna use your machete if you have like 10 machetes? I mean, you probably got one machete that you enjoy using a lot, and then you probably like your average person probably has like 10 that they like, but they don't use all that often. So these things
Oh
could
yeah,
last
definitely. Yeah.
forever.
Oh yeah, and these slingshots can last as long as you replace the bands. Look at this beautiful one that was I won in a contest at the slingshot tournament.
Yeah.
That's by Hillbilly Slings. I would endorse this. Look at how beautiful this. I
Uh,
mean the wood.
Eric in the chat is saying that Public Safety Code 5-133.3 does provide a pathway for individuals disqualified under specific mental health related issues. So that's Maryland Public Safety Code. But you're trying to get out of
Yeah.
Maryland altogether rather than play by their rules, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're
I
not
have plans, yeah.
yeah, you're not federally disqualified from owning a weapon.
Not federally, but state I am. And
Yeah.
the fact is I prefer to get these tools. I got into less than lethal launchers, and I want to get into more PCP. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But I mean,
Like
if
yeah,
you
I get that.
if you move to Kentucky, you'll be fine.
Of course, of
You
course.
you
I
talk
moved to
about
Kentucky.
buying land in Kentucky, somewhere up in the mountains.
Yes. Kentucky or West Virginia up in the mountains. That's where I want to be.
Country
Out of the way.
yeah,
exactly. I want to be as far away and exactly. I want to be far removed from, the
liberals.
the civilization. Part of me wants to basically. I've been on the internet for years, and I'm starting to realize. Now I'm from a generation. I'm late Gen X. You understand? I'm late Gen X. I was born in 1980. I'm a cusper. You know what I mean? So I'm not exactly a millennial.
You're barely Gen X.
Barely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I'm barely millennial.
I do.
I was born in '95. I'm closer to Gen Z than millennial.
Yeah. So I remember like the late 80s. I remember the 90s wasn't so good for me, but I remember the late 80s. I remember those times.
What do you think about that decade?
Last great decade, man. The movies were great. The culture was great. It was more upbeat,
I know the cartoons are weird as fuck from that time. I know the way people dress. The way people dress seems a bit odd.
Yeah, but it was a time where people were more, lighthearted and upbeat. You know what I mean? People were. It was the last great decade, in my opinion.
I
people.
Think the 60s, 70s, and 80s was all pretty weird decades.
From your opinion, but you didn't live through it.
When you think about like the 60s, you think of like, hippies and stuff, and then when you think of the 70s, you think of like disco, man. And then when you think of like the 80s, you think of like double denim and like everybody's wearing denim everywhere, and it just looks kind of, I don't know. It just had.
I get that.
It just had a weird aesthetic. To
you, it was weird. To us, it was just right. The 80s was a much more interesting time. It was.
I think the early 2000s is a bit underrated.
I lived through the early 2000s. Yeah, it is underrated.
It wasn't. It wasn't that shitty. It wasn't as shitty as people say it was.
I would disagree. It was pretty bad. The Obama
Well,
years, yeah.
the early 2000s was the golden age for nerds getting girlfriends on the internet. You got guys that are
I
called
remember that.
yeah, you got
I
guys that are
remember that. I could definitely.
so so a lot of guys that are called incels right now could definitely have gotten a little emo baddie on MySpace.
I did. I got a lot of girls on internet
Yeah,
dating. I got
we all
laid a
did.
lot.
And now we're
You know what I
writing
mean?
female. Now we're writing female inmates. That's the next thing. You know,
Uh,
that's the next thing.
you know,
Like
I
that.
mean, OK Cupid used to be my way. I had several good. My relationships didn't last long because I'm autistic and
If you want
it's.
to cold approach, I'm not gonna lie. Dollar
Yeah.
General is a good cold approach spot.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
You
You
pull
know,
up. You
I'll tell
pull
you
up to
what.
Dollar General on a e-bike, and then just make sure you lock it
Yeah.
when you pull up, because like people out there will steal the e-bike. you know, if you don't lock it up, you got to make sure it's locked to something.
Yeah.
But if you pull up to
I mean, you
Dollar
had to
General,
live through the '80s, but I would say this: you had to live through the '80s to understand it. It was just one of those times where, when I was a kid, you didn't have to have adult supervision. I was in the woods all day without
yeah,
adult supervision.
well, that's how it was when I
You
was a
know,
kid.
you know,
I was
it
born
was
right
one of
on time because I was
the.
born right on time for the internet, but it was still in the 2000s. I don't know how old the people in the chat are. I'm going to tell you guys kind of how my childhood was like. We would stay out until like it got dark, and then after it got dark, you kind of were expected to go home, but sometimes you just get carried away. You'd stay out a little later than you're supposed to, but you'd be kind of
Oh
expected
yeah,
to
I've
go
done
home
that.
when it's dark. Yeah. And
Oh yeah.
like we'd play like football, like it wasn't even real football. Like we would just have like we'd play war with sticks. We'd run around with sticks. We'd
I've
build
done that.
forts out in the woods.
I've done that.
You
I
ever
mean
built like
that I've seen. Oh yeah,
a
definitely.
you
We
built a
done a
tree
lot of
house?
that back in the back was we built forts. Um, we had all sorts of things. We actually Grandpa used to make us these things called rubber band rifles.
Yeah.
That's how I got into them.
Yeah.
Grandpa, there was it's a long story, okay, but it's a really good one. Basically, at my grandfather's place, there was a conflict between my family and a much more wealthier family. You know what I mean?
You're
I'm
saying
not going to
some
say who
like
they are.
Hatfields and McCoy shit going on?
Oh yeah, it's a long story, but it is a good one. It
Yeah.
starts out like this. Okay, now we didn't know about this conflict. I was a kid at the time. I was just a boy, and my cousins, my brother, and my cousins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We okay. On the other side of the property in the backwoods, there was this. You have to make the contrast here. My grandfather was a trailer, like when we're talking about very little grass, gravel, you know what I mean? Dirt road. It was like sheds and old cars, you know what I mean? And the other side was basically a paved, driveway. It would look upper middle class house, big house, you know what I mean? You know, and a lot of and grass, you know what I mean? Contrasts, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and we're and we, and it, there's a certain amount of distance between that house and us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we see there's another group of kids playing. We don't know who they are, you know what I mean? And we're curious, but our parents won't let us near the place, near them,
Yeah.
and that's okay because we have all these woods to play in, right? And what happened was is that uh, my grandpa had a lot of these old rotting lawnmowers, and what little grass we had, basically under supervision from my father, let my female cousin, use the rotting lawnmower to cut the little grass because the property was like our property was like this. There was a swamp and trees separating us from the highway. There was this property, it's like it wasn't that big, but it wasn't like it wasn't small either. You know what I mean? So there
Yeah.
was like a swamp with trees, like I guess left over from moonshining, and so, and there's like a dirt road that goes into the main property, and there
Yeah.
was the woods, pretty much. And so what happens is at the front of the property is that um at my cousin is basically mowing what little grass we had in the front or back. You know what I mean? And basically, these Peters kids come up and throw rocks at my cousin. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and at my cousin runs back to us. And my family hasn't been known to basically back down from a fight ever. You know what I mean? We come from hillbilly stock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not. Both sides of my family are Southern. You know what I mean? And basically, she had a gash on the side of her head from getting hit with rocks. And we were gathered around Grandpa around his truck. Some kind of wisdom he was telling us. And basically, he pulled out the truck. And it's like anything that could be used for a club. He gave us to go up that driveway and beat kick their cans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We went up that driveway like gangs of New York, boom, boom, with clubs, and the Peters saw us, right? And like they ran away because they knew that no matter how many rocks they threw, we were going to keep coming. And when we came, we were going to bring an ass whooping with
Yeah.
us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From that point on, we weren't curious about them. I'm trying to make a long story short. Now what happened was later on, a couple days later, we retreated to the woods. We were walking our own trails in the backwoods. And all of a sudden, this is the first time I seen them up close, you know what I mean? Was the Peters. You know what I mean? I noticed they had copper colored hair. So we call them copperheads, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because that's what the snake that we had around our area, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A venomous snake. So we called them the copperheads. So what happened is that I'm in there, right? And there's 4 of them. There's one of me. And I tell them to leave. You can't be here. And they were saying, well, no one tells us where we can be, especially white trash like you. Ooh. You know what I mean?
Then?
Well, I realized I'm outnumbered being a kid. I tried to run away and get my brothers, you know what I mean? And I ran into a bush. He got me in a headlock like this, like punching me in the back of the head until I bit him. You know what I mean? And like I went all wolf out. I mean, I just went psycho. I was so pumped full of adrenaline, I just roared and basically picked up a tree branch twice my size and body weight as a little boy and just was chasing after all 4 of them.
Wow.
I chased them out of the woods to run from me like I was Jason Voorhees. I was going a little psycho. And I was a little upset.
Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, I was a little upset at that time. So what happened was that I come back home, right? And I was going to get my ass whooped for this. But apparently, my family was okay with me whooping Peter's asses. You know what I mean? So
my stepdad told me, you know what he told me?
Yeah.
He said, when you go to school, he said, there's kids that are trying to bully you or whatever, and you can beat them up. Like, you're bigger and stronger than them. He said, you go ahead and take a bike lock. Just go ahead and beat them up. And he said, when you do that, we'll have a pizza party.
Okay.
You'll get suspended and we'll have a party for like a week, and then they'll never fuck with you again. That's what my stepdad said. He said, look, you're going to get suspended anyway, so, might as well just do it in style. And I said, well, why don't I bring a weapon? He's like, don't bring a weapon, because then it looks like, you literally brought a weapon to school. Just have something that you're allowed to have and then use it as a weapon,
Smart. So what happened is that, I just basically tore this Peter boy apart. I saw his lower side where I bit him. All the flesh was torn off.
Police never got involved?
No, because they were on our land and they shouldn't have been there.
So everybody was kind of doing stuff they weren't supposed to do, but mostly them, probably.
Yeah.
It seems like they kept trespassing.
Yeah, we weren't trying to bother them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our fill and we decided just play in the woods and not deal with them. But we felt, my family were territorial by nature. You know what I mean? You come into our territory and this is the places where we play. These woods were our playground. Yeah. And we're going to fight for it. You know what I mean? We're going to fight for it. So what happens is a couple days later, and well, I'm up there, and the Peters comes over there and saying how bad I was. Apparently, my family was endorsing me. My aunt was about to beat up Mommy Peters. Sorry, the rich girl, the rich woman's mom. You know what I mean? She was the rich kid's mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was acting all like stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like trying to basically act like she was like I was doing something wrong when they were in our property, and I defended myself. You know,
Yeah.
and of course my aunt was my aunt was kind of like a mother to me. Um, she saw me as her own son, and she wasn't happy when she heard that. And my aunt, just like most of my family members, this this woman was warned, if you don't leave now, she was going to the mom of the family, the rich family, was going to get her tail kicked. You
Yeah.
know, interesting situation because the adults didn't like the Peters, and neither did we at this point. you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it was a culture clash, pretty much. Rich, upper crust versus blue collar. And they saw us, but they didn't know that we were street. We come from family of street fighters,
Yeah.
and we don't play by the rules. So what happens
Yeah.
is 3 days later, now the Peters got these four-wheel ATVs. We don't have those. And my brother and my cousins walking down the path, and they just light my cousins up, and my cousin and my brother up with BBs, from a BB gun.
Oh shit.
You know, oh, you know, we weren't having that after that. My grandpa went right to work making us an arsenal. He made us these rubber band rifles that looked like muskets. Okay, and
Wow.
these were industrial rubber bands. I'm talking about the kind of rubber bands that are used for trucking. They look black too. They look like fan belts, but they were industrial rubber bands. And
Yeah.
instead of a like a
Were
and
they were
this
they do they look somewhat like these? Oh, you can't see it on the screen. I
I
got these
can't
black
see
rubber
you.
bands that I keep around my neck knife to keep the it's to keep the
Something like that.
paracord
I
from
know I
sliding.
know of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, something like that. They were made for industrial loot, for trucking on keeping things together on big rigs, like big packages. So basically, it looked like he cut this out and made it look like a musket. He sanded it, everything,
Yeah.
and had everything on. And instead of basically, like a clothespin for it, it was like a steel clamp. So, and it took a lot of strength to basically load it, But when it did, it would basically it's like getting hit with a paintball, except it's like you hear a whip cracking sound, and basically instead of like the bruising, it feels like lashes, like I'm talking about bloody lashes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it hits you, we call it getting gobsmacked because you were bloody gobs if you got hit
So you
with
guys
one.
got your
You know?
revenge for that.
Here's what happened. The first that the Peters thought they won after a couple of days, but my grandpa made us an arsenal, and the whole family got us like these camo outfits. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
these black fanny packs. And we
For reloading.
basically they got us these like yeah, they got us these cheap helmets, bicycle helmets, and we like dipped them in paint, like dark green paint and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we had basically we were wearing camo and hiding in the bushes, doing guerrilla tactics, And they thought they were gonna ride in their four wheelers, right? But we were hiding in the bushes, and we shot them off their four wheelers.
With the rubber band guns.
Oh yeah, they were high powered
But
rubber
they
band rifles.
recoiled with pain, fell straight off the
Oh yeah.
yeah.
They thought they were doing something. We just basically knocked,
I
and they
had
had to leave. And
I had a neighborhood incident. There was this guy, and to this day he's got the scar from it. I hit this kid in my neighborhood with a scooter, like about
oh yeah, he told me about
20
that.
years ago, yeah. And he still has a big giant scar in his face to this day. I took the actual part of the scooter that you're supposed to have your feet on, like it
Oh, yeah.
swiveled, and then it like hit
Oh
him on the
boy,
face like here,
I don't
and
blame
so
you.
there's like blood gushed down his face. He needed stitches, and he never
In my
snitched on
family,
me. I
yeah.
went home and I
And
thought there was going to be a knock on my door, and it never came.
In my family, we have a saying: never start a fight, but always finish it. And I come
Yeah.
from a very psycho family. The point is here is that there were several incidents back and forth. This was like a little war. Okay, when other kids were playing war, we were
Yeah.
living it, and because there was a back and forth fighting until basically one time one of the Peters was unarmed and not wearing any kind of was not armed, comes over to the main part of our property, and we greeted him with rubber band rifles, and he was running back to his side, and I shot him in the ear. And eventually the war stopped back and forth. And there was one incident where we shot him from a nearby the ditch near the when they were just
So
coming into the trail.
how did it
Near the
stop?
How did it stop? Okay, I'm not. I shouldn't. I digress. No, man. I digress. How did it stop? One of the
Hello,
older
this is a
Peters
Hold,
said,
hold
prepaid
on.
call
"Make
from
peace."
Hold on 1 second, okay? I'm gonna see if she can. Can you hear that?
an inmate at a Florida Department of Corrections institution. To accept this call, press 0. To
It
refuse
would be
this
better
call,
if you got me a
hang
link,
up
bro.
or press
But
Hold on.
yeah.
1. To prevent calls from this facility, press
Hold on
9.
1 second. Okay, it's not working anyway.
Hello.
All right. You hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I had a
Basically,
call.
okay. Basically, one of the older Peters comes up and basically says that they want to make peace, and so we made a deal with them. They don't come into our woods. They don't come where we play, and we made peace. The war was over.
That's how many wars end, and even big real wars, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying your
Yeah.
war wasn't real, you know, because it was real. It was real conflict, real violence. But in terms of like national like wars where people are like dying and shit, that's how most
One
wars
thing
end.
wars always have,
Yeah.
and here's another thing I've learned from that small conflict: wars always have someone funding them. Now the Peters had, their rich parents funding them, but my grandfather and his ingenuity funded
Yeah.
it, and also my aunt funded it with giving us these camo uniforms and everything we needed. You know what I mean? So it was kind of funny because both sides wanted to see that what both sides wanted us to fight it out, and we did.
Yeah. So I keep getting prison calls, and I'm trying to accept it so I can get my
Hello,
girlfriend
this
on the
is a
stream. One of my
prepaid call
girlfriends. I'm trying to get
from
Desiree on the stream.
an inmate at a Florida
Somebody
Department
asked her,
of Corrections
I
institution.
liked her. She
To
was
accept this
okay.
call, press
Well,
She
Your
I
was,
have
call was not accepted. Please try again later.
I worship Odin, and I believe in having like multiple wives. So I always had Desiree and Nicole. Most people don't know that, but that's why Desiree has my name tattooed on her because of that.
okay. Um, okay, I get that.
But even in the Old Testament, people had multiple wives. I think having multiple wives is based.
Okay.
Yeah, I think having
Um,
multiple.
yeah,
What's your take on that?
I prefer to have one. I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
just having
I think
I'll put it this way. I'll be honest with you because I don't. It's bad enough if I'm getting married. It's going to be a headache, right?
yeah,
I don't want to have like three or two headaches.
yeah. Two's a good number for me. Andrew Tate has like 4 wives. I only want 2. Two's a good number.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
think 2 wives is a good number. I think they need to,
Yeah.
update the laws so you can do it the right way. But I don't really believe in marriage certificates anyway. It's a long story. I got some pretty complicated beliefs in terms of
Oh yeah.
marriage.
Well, so do I. I can agree with you on that. I don't believe in modern marriage.
Yeah.
The point is here is that, yeah. So needless to say, my fascination with primitive weapons has been since childhood.
Well,
And of course there's
if they want to look you up, if our audience wants to look you up, how do they find you on YouTube?
Slingshot Warrior Outdoors.
Okay.
Um,
If we could put
I'm also on
if
I'm
we could
on
put
Instagram.
the link, I'm gonna put the link in the chat so they can look you guys up. But it'll come up if you
I'm
type
also
in Slingshot Warrior.
okay. I'm all and there on Instagram. I'm Justin Wolf Energy. Um,
Okay.
Hello, this is a prepaid call
uh,
from
I use the wolf analogy a lot in my thing
an
because I
inmate
came
at
from
a
a family
Florida
that
Department
behaved
of
like
Corrections
woods.
institution.
I grew up in the
To accept
woods. We
this
behaved
call,
like
press
wolves. As we mess with one
0.
of us, we
To
mess with
refuse
all of
this
us.
call,
Yeah.
hang
Kind of
up
like
or
that.
press
So
1. To
as you can
prevent
see in that
calls from this
story, you know,
facility,
man.
press
So
9.
I come from a long line of warriors,
Yeah.
Hello,
brawlers,
this is a
and of
prepaid
course
call from
killers. You know, man. It's a lot of them in my family.
Yeah.
You
of
know.
Corrections institution. To
Uh,
accept this call, press
so that's
0.
pretty
To
much my.
refuse this call, hang up or press
So I would
1.
suggest, and
To
the one thing
prevent
I want
calls
to
from
say
this
is that
facility, press
uh,
9.
to the people that are in complete, I want to
Your
say this
call was
people, this
not
things, the
accepted.
firearms
Please
people, the
Yeah.
people that you know are just into firearm preparedness. I got news for you. That ammunition, it can
Can
run
run
out
out.
real quick.
Yeah, unless you're
Bullets aren't
stockpiling it.
cheap. Bullets aren't cheap. You know what's cheaper?
What?
Crossbow bolts, arrows, steel ball bearings.
Yeah.
I could stockpile on those easily. You know what I mean?
True. And then
I could
you can
stockpile
reuse
my
them.
less than exactly.
Well, hey, look, we
So
gotta actually get Vex on the show. I posted the link to your channel in the
all
chat.
right.
So guys, if you're not
God bless you.
already, if you guys are not already subscribed to Slingshot Warrior, please subscribe to Slingshot Warrior. He's got some interesting videos. I'm also going to be helping him increase the production value of the videos, so his content is
Okay.
going to get better and better. Thank you,
All
man.
right. God bless you.
Thank you. All right. We're gonna have either Vex or one of the female
Hello,
inmates
this
on
is
here.
a prepaid call from
They're trying to use Kayla's.
an inmate at a Florida Department of
Kayla's,
Corrections institution. To accept this
DC
call,
number.
press 0.
Her
To
account.
refuse this
See if
call,
they can get it to
hang
work.
up or press
Shit ain't
1.
working.
To prevent calls from this facility, press
I'm
9.
spamming 0 because sometimes that works and makes it connect.
Hello, this is a prepaid call.
Anyways, I'm gonna see if Vex wants to call. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. The fire rises. Shit. We'll see if Vex calls in. All right. See if anybody from Fast Slash wants to call on. Anyways, guys, we'll probably have Vex call in. That was the plan. Or we're gonna have, we're gonna talk to female inmates.
Hello, this is a prepaid call
But
from
I'm probably gonna end the stream pretty soon. I am tired, guys.
an
It was
inmate
good talking
at
to
a Florida
Slingshot
Department
Warrior.
of Corrections institution. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press 1. To prevent calls
Trying to
from this
spam
facility,
0 just to get
press
it to work.
9.
Ain't really working.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at a Florida Department of Corrections. To accept this call,
Shit. We only got a couple people watching the stream anyway. I'm probably gonna end it for the night, guys. Ain't that many people watching it. So I'll probably end the stream for the night. But guys, it's been a good stream. I didn't really prepare for this as much as I would like to have prepared. I've just been working. I got I got the review on this Kershaw that I'm going to be working on. The Kershaw review will probably be out either tomorrow or sometime this weekend. There's a couple of other projects I'm working on too that are going to be a surprise for you guys. But yeah, this Kershaw is going to get reviewed. And then we'll probably have several, it's going to be business as usual for the channel. I don't want you guys thinking that my run for sheriff is going to be like the whole channel now, because we got a lot more things we're going to do than that. The fact that I am planning to run for sheriff, that is significant, but it's not until 2028, and we haven't even filed the campaign paperwork, and I still got to meet with some attorneys about campaign finance laws and all this crazy shit that I got to figure out. It's a real process. So the channel's not going to be all about that, because if the channel was all about that, things would get pretty boring pretty quick. But there will be occasional updates about it, but I don't want you guys thinking that that's going to become the entire purpose of the stream or whatever. So let's see one more time.
Please try again later.
Oh, it's not going through. Yeah. I think we are going to end the stream, guys. I was going to have Vex call in, but I need to talk to him off the air anyway. So, guys, have a good one. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Check out the other videos. If there's videos that I've uploaded that you haven't watched yet, feel free to check them out. I appreciate all the support from everybody. Shout out to all the supporters. I'm just fucking tired, man. I've just been working hard. I just want to give everybody a shout out. Let me go to the top fans thing. Slingshot Warrior, Eric, Ozerbador, Ohio, Hard to Find, Coral Weezer, Hell Jacob, and then Nobody are our top fans on the stream tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And we're going to go ahead and end the stream for the night. We'll see you guys in the next one. Sorry for the low energy. I'm just fucking exhausted. We'll see you guys in the next one. Jordan Jareb,